Well, if you fit, you're right.
I'm going to be there.
Yes. But you know what? I happen to have the list of everybody in this room, and I think everybody in this room is on the nice list. I am real sure. Now, except for a couple of the brothers.
You want me to go sit with y'all? I think you do right there, that little bag. Go sit with me.
Are y'all ready for the stories? All right.
Yeah.
Now, even at the North... Yes. How's Rudolph doing? I tell you, Rudolph has had a little bit of cold.
Okay, but you gotta stand right there.
And so what we've had to do is we had to give him a little bit of medicine, but don't you worry, he'll be just fine Christmas Eve, okay? And as a matter of fact, he brought me here tonight. He's feeling much better. But you know, for a while, he was just laying in the bed and all he wanted to do was watch cartoons. So, but he's all better now. Yes. Yes, it is really red, and it really does shine very brightly in the fog. I mean, you can probably see him from 3 miles away. You really can. All right, now, even at the North Pole, we know that Santa Claus is not the real reason we celebrate Christmas. Does anybody know whose birthday Christmas is? Yes. Jesus' birthday. It's not Santa Claus' birthday, and it's not my birthday. If you want to send me a present, my birthday is actually June the 7th, okay? But it is Jesus' birthday, and this is a book about Jesus' birth, about when he was born. And it's called The Crippled Lamb by a man named Max Lucado. And I'm going to hold up the pictures as we go. But I am old. I'm about 450 years old, so I'm going to have to wear glasses.
Miss Claus. Miss
And I'm
Claus.
much younger than Santa, by the way.
Miss Claus.
Yes. Santa's probably 1,500 years old. Yeah, he needs a hearing aid now, too, but he won't get one.
You want her?
Once upon a time in a sunny valley, there lived a little lamb named Joshua. He was white with black spots, black feet, and very sad eyes. Josh felt sad when he saw other lambs with snow white wool and no spots. He felt sad when he saw other sheep with their moms and dads because he didn't have a mother or a father. He felt saddest of all when he saw the other lambs running and jumping and playing because he had a hurt leg and he couldn't do any of that. He was crippled. And he always limped when he walked. That's why he always watched while the other lambs ran and played. Josh felt sad and alone. Except when Abigail was around. Abigail was Josh's best friend. Do y'all have a best friend? Yeah. So you know how that makes you feel. It makes you feel good inside, right? To be around your best friend. Now, Abigail was Josh's best friend, but she didn't look like a friend for a lamb. She was an old cow. She was brown with white blotches that looked like rain puddles on a path. Her belly was as round as a barrel, but her voice was always friendly and kind. Some of Josh's favorite hours were spent with Abigail. They loved to pretend they were on adventures in distant lands. Josh liked to listen to Abigail tell stories about the stars. They would spend hours on the hill looking into the valley. They were very good friends. But even with a friend like Abigail, Josh still got sad. It made him sad to be the only lamb who could not run and jump and play in the grass. That's when Abigail would turn to him and say, "Don't be sad, little Joshua. God has a special place for those who feel left out." Can you say that with me? Don't be sad, little Joshua. God has a special place for those who feel left out. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. Josh wanted to believe her, but it was hard. Some days he felt just alone. He really felt alone the day the shepherds decided to take the lambs to the next valley, where there was more grass. The sheep had been in this valley so long the ground was nearly bare. All the sheep were excited when the shepherd told them they were going to a new meadow. As they prepared to leave, Josh hobbled over and took his place at the edge of the group. But the others started laughing at him. "You're too slow to go all the way to the next valley." "Go back, slowpoke. We'll never get there if we have to wait on you." "Go back, Joshua." Well, how would that make you feel? Sad. Very sad. That's when Josh looked up and saw the shepherd standing in front of him. And he bent over and he said, "They are right, my little Joshua. You better go back. This trip is too long for you. Go and spend the night in the stable." Josh looked at the shepherd for a long, long time. Then he turned slowly and began limping away. When Josh got to the top of the hill, he looked down and saw all the other sheep headed toward the green grass. Never before had he felt so left out. A big tear slipped out of his eye, rolled down his nose, and fell on a rock. Just then, he heard Abigail behind him. And Abigail said what she always said when Josh felt sad. "Don't be sad, little Joshua. God has a special place for those who feel left out." Let's try that again. "Don't be sad, little Joshua. God has a special place for those who feel left out." Slowly the two friends turned and walked to the stable together. By the time they got to the little barn, the sun was setting like a big orange ball. Josh and Abigail went inside and began to eat some hay out of the feed box. They were very hungry, and the hay tasted good. For a little while, Joshua forgot that he had been left behind. "Go to sleep, little friend," Abigail said after they finished eating. "You've had a hard day." Josh was tired, so he lay down in the corner on some straw and closed his eyes. He felt Abigail lie down beside him, and he was glad to have Abigail as a friend. Soon Josh was asleep. At first he slept soundly, curled up against Abigail's back. In his sleep he dreamed. He dreamed of running and jumping just like other sheep. He dreamed of long walks with Abigail through the valley. He dreamed of being in a place where he never felt left out. Suddenly, strange noises woke him up. "Abigail," he whispered, "wake up, I'm scared." Abigail lifted her big head and looked around. The stable was dark except for a small lamp hanging on the wall. "Somebody's in here," Joshua said. They looked across the dimly lighted stable, and there, lying on some fresh hay in the feed box, was a baby. The young woman was resting on a big pile of hay beside the feed box. Joshua looked at Abigail, thinking his friend could tell him what was going on. But Abigail was just as surprised as Joshua. Josh looked again at the woman and the child, and then he limped across the stable. He stopped next to the mother and looked into the baby's face. The baby was crying. He was cold. The woman picked up the baby and put him on the hay next to her. Josh looked around the stable for something to keep the baby warm. Usually there were blankets, but not tonight. The shepherds had taken them on their trip across the valley. Can you believe that? They took every single blanket from the stable and then told Joshua to go there to spend the night. Then Josh remembered his own soft, warm world. Timidly, he walked over and curled up close to the baby. Thank you, little man, the baby's mother said softly. Soon the little child stopped crying and went back to sleep. About that time, a man entered the stable carrying some rags.
I'm sorry, Mary.
He explained.
This is all the cover I could find.
It's okay, she answered. This little lamb has kept the new king warm. A king? Joshua looked down at the baby and wondered who he might be. His name was Jesus. Mary spoke as if she knew Joshua's question. He is God's son. He came from heaven to teach us about God. Just then, there was another noise at the door. It was the shepherds, the same ones who had left Joshua behind. Their eyes were big and they were all excited. We saw a bright light and we heard angels, they began. Then they saw Joshua next to the baby. Joshua, do you know who this baby is? He does now. It was the young mother who was speaking. She looked at Joshua and smiled. God has heard your prayers, little lamb, and this baby is the answer. Joshua looked down at the baby. Somehow he knew this was a special child, and this was a special moment. He also understood why he had been born with a crippled leg. Had he been like the other sheep, he would have been in the valley. And since he was different, he was in the stable, among the first to welcome Jesus into the world. Joshua turned and walked back to Abigail and took his place beside his friend. You were right, he told her. God has a special place for me. That's Max Lucado and the Crippled Lamb. And I really like that story because it tells the story about the person whose birthday is. We're celebrating at Christmas time. Sometimes we forget. Now this is, how much time do we have? Oh, yeah. How many of you have seen poinsettias? Do you know what it is? It's got red flowers. It's associated with Christmas. You read this in class. Yes. Yes. Well, I'm real tickled that you did. Did you tell him hello and give him a big hug? People in South Carolina, which is where you are, correct? Correct. Should be very proud when they see a poinsettia. Do you know why? Because the man who brought the poinsettia from Mexico to the United States was a man named Dr. Joel Roberts Poinsett. And he was from South Carolina. Did you know that? So every time you see a poinsettia, you just get yourself real proud because the man who brought the poinsettia back to the United States from Mexico was a